Good evening, everyone, and welcome here at round 13 of the 2022 championship season. After the twists and turns that was the Canadian round, we saw Alex Bignacco get his first career win, and then a big dogfight of a battle for the win at Road 1, with Dejon Weeks beating DJ Curtis. And now, the top four in the championship standings are likely the favorite to win the title this season. And you got to put a shoe in for the two-time champion Richard Johnson in there as well. Bassinger, Curtis, Weeks, Schwellenberg, and Richard Johnson, the top five. All five drivers could leave Talladega theoretically with the championship lead. And, well, outside of the top five is Alex Bignacco, Matthew Rodriguez, Cody Lamas, Joseph Shrigley, and Sean Harpel. All 10 drivers within 2 races of the points lead, still a long ways to go, and after today, we'll be at the halfway point of this season. With Weeks winning out at Road 1, that's put momentum back on his side. After a devastating race that was Trois Rivières, he turned that around so quickly at Road 1. He's now back to third in points, but Curtis has been very solid. He's second in points, just 28 points back, a little over half a race behind Jake Bassinger, who continues to be very solid in his pursuit of the second championship. Well, for Talladega, you know, last 2 races we had to worry about guys getting in the wall, getting in the tire barrier, spinning off the racetrack. Well, today, it's all about the big one. Will the big one happen? And you got to get on and off pit road good. It's going to be a one-stop for today's race, 57 laps. Going to go about 30 or so laps until you finally make your pit stops. But anyway, we've seen at Talladega in the past. You have to get on and off pit road very quickly, or otherwise you lose the lead pack. And this race tends to go green for the most times. We don't see a whole lot of yellows, and if we do see a yellow flag, it's the big one. And if the big one strikes, it could take out some fierce title contenders for this 2022 battle. Let's get on to start the race. Coming to take the green flag for today's race, Dejon Weeks, hot off the win at Road 1, will lead the field to the green flag alongside Matthew Rodriguez, who is still in the top 10 in the driver's standings, Schwellenberg and DJ Curtis in Row 2. Hope everyone is enjoying their 4th of July weekend. We're under the lights at Talladega, and we're racing for 57 laps. Anything can happen here on the high banks of Talladega Super Speedway. Going to be fanning out 3-wide racing. Similar racing that you've seen in the Daytona 500 will happen today. Restrictor plates on the race cars. Remember, Daytona and Talladega, these drivers have a lot of history in the last couple of years of running with unrestricted engines on the high banks of Daytona and Talladega. Last fall, we did run at Talladega with restrictor plates, so these drivers know how it's going to run for today. Ryan Griffin in car 3 in the Can-Am Chevrolet is going to be eyeing up a victory for today's race. Griffin went winless all through 2021 when he was driving the 37 Monster Energy Racing Dodge. Well, car 30 Monster Energy Racing leading the field now, and Griffin wants to get that win. It's been a while for him since he went to victory lane Rockingham in the fall of 2020. Here comes Bassinger, the championship leader. Started just inside the top 10. Coming forward, here comes Griffin's teammate Bignacco. Took a peek to the inside of Bassinger. Tucks right back in. The U.S. Air Force, Jesse Turner, sporting the nice light blue scheme, honoring the Air Force for this race weekend on the 4th of July. Not as much patriotic schemes as we have seen in the past. Samuel England in the Red Bull further behind. Thank you, veterans, in the Trans Am Pontiac coming to the front in car 82, the Red Bull. But Turner Performance Racing, you know, they had a lot of bad luck in the Daytona 500 other than Jake Bassinger, Jesse Turner. They finished at the front. Bassinger winning the Daytona 500. Bassinger could be the favorite to win here at Talladega, coming off the win in the Daytona 500. In the 63, Blake Warren. Warren qualified his way into the field for the Daytona 500, but got a driver replacement for Cole Baker to drive the 79 car. This is the 63 for Flipside Motorsports, second entry. And you're going to have to note the part-time cars for this race. You know, there's a handful of guys. Oh, and RJ Bishop, car 87. That's another one of those part-time cars for this race weekend. Part-time entries. Blake Warren's going for the lead in the Flipside Motorsports Mercedes. These part-time entries will be trying to earn a charter spot for next season. If you are unaware, the top car in part-time owner points earns a charter for the 2023 season. And right now there is a big fight to be that top part-time car. Over the course of the owner points for this season, Blake Warren, car 63, they have their hat in the ring. Car 87, car 93. I believe there's some more entries as well. James Ellison could have won this race last year in the spring, driving for S3 Motorsports, which S3 Motorsports has Kev Shear, last year's Hardy's National Series champion, in the field for today. Charles Sanford ran well at Daytona, so did Eric DeMax, Anthony Marchese, Dom Capps. You're seeing a lot of drivers that ran well in the Daytona 500 making their way towards the front. Chris Dodd, car 44, bringing the 34, James Sorfox on the outside, but the inside, where you want to be right now. Eric DeMax has such a fast race car, got to the front, trying to pull the gap on Charles Sanford. If you remember in the Gatorade duels, DeMax and Sanford pulled the gap in their Gatorade duels on the pack, and they were able to lead the pack around. And, well, they look equally as strong here at Talladega. And DeMax looking to get revenge after losing that race, after falling 2 laps down in the Daytona 500. Came back from 2 laps down, even made up an additional lap after falling an extra lap down. Eric DeMax leads. Stephen Poe III has lost the draft. They're looking 4-wide temporarily. Allison Rain, Vince Freeze, Cole Baker, Kev Shear in the 03. That's another one of them part-time entries for this race weekend. Jake Bassinger falling back the poles. Hitter Dejon Weeks as well falling backwards. And then there's the 66 and 61 Team Velocity cars. Richard Johnson enters this race 5th in points. J.D. Martin, that car ran very well in the Daytona 500 with Austin Rogers behind the wheel. A special scheme for the 84 for this race weekend, honoring a friend. Daniel Bouchard is a friend that passed away earlier this season. And DJ Curtis following Samuel England, looking like he wants to try and make a pass, but at the front, single file is no more. Capps and Marchese, who worked together in the closing laps in the Daytona 500, working their way to the inside of Charles Sanford for second position. Marchese and Dom Capps so close at the end of the Daytona 500 to winning the Great American Race. And they're moving their way into the podium positions. Will Goss, who ran well in the Daytona 500, is in the top 10. RJ Bishop, remember this is a Turn Performance Racing entry. This is Sanders Performance Autosport. This is the team, but they are getting cars from the Turn Performance Racing organization. Same thing as Team Velocity. And Team Velocity actually ran very well at Daytona and Talladega in the last few years as well. RJ Bishop's a Turn Performance driver in the National Series. So it's good to see the 87 team. They almost made the Daytona 500, if you remember, with Lane Sanders behind the wheel. But Eric DeMax continues to lead the field around. Eric DeMax is gone. Look at the gap he has on the field. Chevrolet, 1, 2, 3, 4. DeMax, Lamas, Griffin, and Benyako. CM Racing has to be thrilled right now. All of their organization is running inside the top 5. They continue to mix and shuffle behind them mid-pack. As you see, Ryan Acosta, Jesse Turner, and them scraping for positions back in round 20th. And Weeks, Schwallenberg, 3rd and 4th. The point leader, Jake Bassinger, as he has been in many races so far this season. He's been very solid. The field flashes by you on the screen. everybody still all together, 40 cars in the lead pack. Looks like Nick Mace is losing the draft, and that just goes to show you how miserable of a season Nick Mace has had. And Dejon Weeks is right there. Same thing that happened at Road 1. Weeks could be the contender to try and pass to Max, but Richard's going to make the move for second position. Dylan Schwallenberg has help with Ryan Griffin, Jake Bassinger, Vince Free, Samuel England, and Peter Onjak all coming on the bottom. This is what will tend to happen. A lot more grip down towards the bottom of the racetrack. A lot more spread out racing than we would have expected. Oh, and they're near 3 wide again. Ryan Acosta, Blake Warren making his way back up into the top half of the field. He's back in the top 10 as Blake Warren. Blake Warren and J.D. Martin running very well, and this is an outstanding run for J.D. Martin, a very inexperienced driver behind the wheel of the 55 this afternoon, following Blake Warren. Remember, these are drivers that have been racing down in the Hardee's or the Napa Truck Series, so they are a little ways down in experience. But the fact that they're running inside the top 5 speaks volumes. Peter Onjak has worked his way up the running order and has worked his way through his career in the Hardee's National Series. Raced with Red Bull Racing for many seasons. Got the call to move up to Cup full-time in Team Velocity. He's the lead Team Velocity car out there right now. And he's actually the lead Ford up here in this battle. And I can't state enough how impressive it is. Some of these startup teams, you know, Flipside Motorsports entering this season, they're getting a lot of help from Cybertron Motorsports. And, well, so is Spa, which is Sanders Autosport, Sanders Performance Autosport. But RJ Bishop, this is basically an affiliate Turner Performance Racing entry, getting some support from that organization, side by side with car 66. The 66 and 87 for this race might as well be prepared by TPR. And, well, Peter Onjak and RJ Bishop, they have real good cars for this race. And don't be surprised. Look at Bishop trying to get underneath of Lamas. Don't be surprised if the 87 and the 66 could get up there and win today's race. All of them are getting engines and super speedway chassis from Turner Performance. Pit stops. We got pit stops unfolding. Dejon Weeks is on pit road, bringing Peter Onjak, Vince Freeze, Jeffrey White, J.D. Martin, Curtis, and Turner on pit road. And that just goes to show you, you know, you got to get on and off pit road very good. The top 4 that stayed out did not get held up, but the rest of the field did. From James Shelley on back, got held up just enough. And that might hurt them whenever they come down pit road and try and stay with the lead pack. Here comes Eric DeMax, bringing old teammate of Matthew Rigas down. Lamas and Dodd staying out again. Alex Benyako, Zayden Davis, and Charlie Smith are on pit road. Lamas working his way around cars that are re-entering the race. Here he comes with Chris Dodd. James Shelley trying to get down pit road speed. RJ Bishop with him, Blake Warren, Dom Caps, Ryan Griffin, and the rest of the field coming down pit road. Here's Dejon Weeks. He got off pit road first of everyone that came down for the first round of pit stops. Peter Onjak with him. Vince Freeze, Jeffrey White, DJ Curtis. Everyone blending on the racetrack very late. However, England and Silver Fox didn't wait at all. But up front, Eric DeMax, Matthew Rigas, beating Dejon Weeks and Peter Onjak, Cody Lamas, and Chris Dodd leaving pit road. That's going to be very close, but it looks like Eric DeMax is going to be able to get the run through 3 and 4, I believe, to beat Eric DeMax and Matthew Rigas, but Lamas might be able to do it. Lamas and Chris Dodd trying to get up to speed. Allison Rain just up ahead, but here comes Chris Dodd, the best car all day, going around the outside. It's going to be mighty tough. Lamas trying to block DeMax. Chris Dodd in car 44, getting the push from Matt Rodriguez. This is the race for the lead. Lamas trying to block DeMax, but here comes Dodd. Dodd in the 44 does have the run. Wow. So Cody Lamas takes the lead of the race. Eric DeMax is shaken out of the lead. Dejon Weeks, Peter Onjak have closed in. Vince Freeze is still there. Jeffrey White, DJ Curtis, James Shelley. Jake Bassinger getting a sniff of the draft. He's still in this. Charlie Smith, RJ Bishop again, still having a whale of a run today. Dom Capps, Alex Benyako, James Sorfox, Blake Warren, Ellison, Young, Martin, JD Martin, Ryan Griffin, and Sean Harple all still in the draft. And then maybe, just maybe, Turner, Schwellenberg, Marchese, Shear, Goss, Sanford, James Baker, Shrigley, Johnson, and Davidson can still claw their way back up to the lead pack. Down the back straightaway, the pole sitter, Dejon Weeks, has worked his way to the inside of Cody Lamas, bringing a friend, Peter Onjak, who has been drafting with him as soon as they got back on the racetrack. And Dejon Weeks is back out front again. And the championship leader, Jake Bassinger, was unable to hang on to the lead pack. DJ Curtis underneath of Vince Freeze and Chris Dodd. Peter Onjak has been shaken out of the second position. And Dejon Weeks out front. You know, he had a really quick car in qualifying, but Dejon Weeks is not going to want to see Eric DeMax in his rear view mirror. He's going to want DeMax to be staying behind him, but DeMax has such a good car, he's just powering his way past Cody Lamas. And DJ Curtis has worked his way underneath of Dejon Weeks and moved the 19 Mercedes up front. It was Weeks last week, Curtis could be this week, but Jeffrey White has some help. Affiliate teammate Eric DeMax pushing Jeffrey White. At Talladega, we've seen first-time winners a lot in the past, and Jeffrey White could possibly win his first Sony Cup Series checkered flag today, but Eric DeMax is looking to get back to the front, and if he gets up front, you might as well kiss the lead and the win goodbye, because DeMax he's shown that he can pull in the corners. He pulls and gaps the field through the corners, and there's just no way you can keep up with him. And it's just extremely difficult to pass car 0. CM Racing and Eric DeMax. What a car they've brought. Vince Freeze is actually losing touch with the leaders. Nick Mace is just in front of them, and Mace has a slow car. Allison Rain is a little quicker in car 29. She's a lap down with Chris Dodd just behind her, and that's going to be another car down and out of the fight, I think. Vince Freeze is going to have to really try and use all he can to draft back up to car 44. Eric DeMax, though, continues to lead the way as we come to 15 laps to go. Our first retiree of the day, Charles Sanford. His Red Bull blew up, and Sanford's going to be the first car out of the race. We've had a green flag run from start to finish so far, and no caution flag came out for this. We're on to lap 50. Still, no changes at the front. Eric DeMax continues to lead the way, and everyone tries to draw a bead on car 0. It ends up being a classic rotation of drivers trying to give their best to pass car 0 of Eric DeMax. Somebody will get up to second place, do their best to get by him, and then somebody will pass second place. James Shelley now has an affiliate team car. Peter Onjak just behind. They need to fall back a little bit on Eric DeMax. Try and get a slingshot run, at least a run to get to the inside of DeMax. DeMax is not going to give up the bottom. The bottom is right where you need to be. And Shelley, and anyone at that matter, I don't know how it's going to happen and if it can happen. Eric DeMax has that good of a race car. I don't know if anyone can beat Eric DeMax. The only one that can beat DeMax is DeMax. And Jacob Hart in the 61 blows up right here towards the end. He had lost the draft and it fell a lap down. His teammate Peter Onjak is running third at the line, and James Ellison is on pit road as well. And the same thing that happened with his teammate of Charles Sanford, 2 Red Bulls go up in smoke, and that's another Red Bull Pontiac engine that expires. Allison Rain coming down pit road. Still no changes at the lead. And, well, it looks like it's going to stay that way. I don't see anybody that will need to pit. Allison Rain may have an unscheduled pit stop she's having to make. She was already 1 lap down. Chris Dodd and Dejon Weeks at the tail end of the pack. DJ Curtis, Vince Freeze. As we come back to the line, it'll be 4 laps to go. Eric DeMax has been the best car, and I don't think anyone can beat him this afternoon. The Nationwide Chevrolet, very solid. This has to have been their Daytona 500 car. They qualified 26th. How do you qualify 26th with this car? I have no idea. But DeMax, they had no idea when they said that this was a race engine under the hood, that this car was not made for qualifying. You had no idea how much speed this car had leaving qualifying. He has a massive gap to James Shelley down the back straightaway. Shelley moves up the racetrack trying to get as much arc into the corner to get a run down the bank in as little bit of speed wherever you can squeeze it. They're all lined up on the bottom, chasing Eric DeMax through 3 and 4. This is the biggest run they're going to have on him. Where can it go? At the line, it'll be 3 laps to go. Can Shelley do anything with this run? He's on the back bumper. Here he goes for the lead. James Shelley trying to pass Eric DeMax. And lap car just up ahead is Allison Rain. Shelley trying to steal it away. In the closing laps at Talladega, Dejon Weeks is at the bottom, but tucks back in behind Cody Lamas. Rodriguez and DeMax up top. If the top side works at all, it's going to happen in the last closing laps. Allison Rain in car 29 might hold up Shelley. Oh, but Allison Rain's going to push up. Lamas is there. Dejon Weeks is there. Coming to 2 laps to go. Unbelievable. Eric DeMax dominated all day. And James Shelley makes the pass. Albeit it took about 5 cars, single file, pushing Shelley to get any sort of run on Eric DeMax. Now off of turn 2 with a lap and a half to go. Last week's winner at Road 1, Dejon Weeks. He ducks out, making the move on James Shelley for the win. It's all over for Eric DeMax. It's not going to happen. Chris Dodd in car 44. Can he upset? He's got to run. Allen Family Racing Team. They desperately need a win. Oh, Weeks is going to have to put a big block here. Big block on Chris Dodd. Shelley and Peter on Jack there. But the inside group has Chris Dodd and Vince Freeze. Freeze to the inside. Freeze is going to get a big push from Jeffrey White. Dejon Weeks trying to go back-to-back. Winning Road 1 and winning at Talladega. Will Goss has pitted. Hopefully he doesn't come up in front of the lead lap cars. Vince Freeze is going to be the only driver to try and snatch victory away. Curtis and Allison Rain lean on each other. Through 3 and 4. Dejon Weeks, Vince Freeze, Chris Dodd on the outside. Dodd has a heck of a run. Oh, and Weeks trying to throw a block. Is Weeks running out of gas? I think he might. Vince Freeze! Vince Freeze makes the pass. Vince Freeze is going to win at Talladega. Vince Freeze with a last lap pass on Dejon Weeks. And Weeks is running out of gas. Dejon Weeks running out of fuel at the end. Sputtering on gas is car 30. Jeffrey White's out of fuel. DJ Curtis is out of fuel. Weeks is out of gas. Vince Freeze takes the checker flag and wins for the first time ever in his Sony Cup Series career. Eric DeMax dominated today. He finishes 8th. James Shelley runner-up, but Vince Freeze is a winner in the Sony Cup Series. Congratulations to Vince Freeze. He is one of the fan favorites in the garage. Everyone loves Vince Freeze. And for a driver last season that had struggled a lot in his career, in the 2021 season, he was the lowest guy in points that had started all 30 races, and Martin Motorsports inked a full-time, lifetime contract with Vince Freeze, marking him as the future of their organization. And I believe Vince Freeze is the 110th different winner of the Sony Cup Series. It was Alex Bignacco a couple weeks ago at 12 of the year. And Vince Freeze, who has done remarkably well on the super speedways. Remember, in the duels, he ran really well earlier this season. And he finished in the top 5 at Talladega last season. Peter Onjak finishes 4th for Team Velocity. Give a call to them. This was the run to the checkered flag. It looked like they were sputtering on gas. Weeks looked like he was running out of fuel. Dodd looked like he was in the prime position. But Dodd might have also been sputtering on fuel. Vince Freeze took the opportunity to duck to the inside. Weeks throwing blocks, trying to hang on to any position possible. And still a 3rd place for him. But the day belongs to the 25 Coca-Cola Cherry machine of Martin Motorsports. This is Martin Motorsports' first win since rebuilding a 2nd team. Remember, Martin Motorsports owned the now Rodriguez Racing team. They took that team to checkered flags, many wins, and a championship for Rodriguez Racing. Martin sold his old team to Rodriguez, which is now Rodriguez Racing, and Martin restarted another team. This is the 2nd version of Martin Motorsports. Vince Freeze, Dom Capps, they've been consistent top 20 cars every week, and now they're race winners. Congratulations to Vince Freeze and Luke Martin for that team getting the victory lane. Let's get you to our finishing results and standings after Talladega.